Just do it. Kriya means just do it. Just practice the exercises. And then what happens is you go into Samadhi, which means your consciousness enters into a void in your head where there are no nerves to interfere with your perception of reality. There's no static. Static is gone in this void. Once you're in the void, it sounds like there's nothing, but everything is there. What happens is your consciousness it grows very rapidly, and to see that time and space are just things that it observes. There are many things that consciousness observes, and time and space are just one of these realities. But your consciousness can expand to hold the entire universe, every atom, no problem, multiple universes. You see that. You keep expanding outward, and then time itself, everything looks like a movie. You see like the frames of the movie. Every second of our life is just a movie with frames. And time is an illusion. You see this. It's already been written. We're enjoying a movie here. And that's one way to describe the experience of Samadhi. The two main effects of Kriya. One is purely physiological. This can be proven in a laboratory. It has been by the Indian government. I know they've done studies on this, which is to slow the metabolism down into such a state that you enter a suspended animation, where you do not need to breathe to get the oxygen you need. It's just the static exchange of molecules isn't sufficient, because your body is in such a deep state of peace, and it freezes. You feel like you're freezing, but not cold freezing, not temperature, just everything stops moving. State. So when I first entered Samadhi, I did not have any memory of Samadhi, but I noticed that in one breath, the moonlight had shifted. Everything became very still, and I became very aware of everything around me. But the moonlight shifted, and I thought, what? I looked up, and the clock and hours had passed in one breath. I was very aware that it was just one breath, and I was sitting up in my meditation posture. I never collapsed or anything. I was just like this. And this is how Lahiri Mahashaya says it first happens. You don't have a memory. But yeah, that's Samadhi. There are many points in the head. They're important for you to be aware of when you're practicing Kriya. The head is the end point. When you're halfway through a Kriya cycle, you end in the head, and then you go back down the spine. But it's important to understand why and where your focus is when you end on the head, and where you end in the head. God is everywhere, consciousness is everywhere, whatever you want to call it, the universal source is everywhere. It doesn't exist in one point. In the head is the closest to your source of consciousness. You're the observer. And so we go back to the observer is what we're looking for. Look, we want to observe the observer, which is us. So you go to the head and you use endpoints as a way to balance yourself. Balance yourself so that you can look back on yourself. So sometimes our endpoints are here, sometimes they're here, and sometimes it's here. Right? Medulla, Bhumadhya, point between the eyebrows. And sometimes it's up here, the bindu, and the reason why is balance of energy. When you come into that space, sometimes your energy can be a little low, a little high, a little too far this way, that way. And so you use those endpoints to get yourself to be in that position where you turn around and look at the observer. This third eye is a mirror, and your consciousness is coming from the medulla like this, like you're looking forward. When you walk around during the day, you notice that your consciousness is looking outward. Right? You can verify this right now. This is true. So how do you look back on yourself? That's what the endpoints are about. You're looking back on yourself.